All right, let's dive into this powerful message that I want to share with you today. Picture this: you're on your deathbed, looking back at your life and reflecting on the choices you made. What will you regret? What will you wish you had done differently? I've spent decades studying the human condition, and I've discovered that there are 4 things you should never sacrifice for anyone, no matter what. These are the keys to living a life of purpose, passion, and fulfillment. First and foremost, never sacrifice your dreams. Your dreams are the very essence of who you are. They are the sparks that ignite your soul and give your life meaning. When you were a child, you had big dreams. You wanted to be an astronaut, a doctor, an artist, or maybe even change the world. But somewhere along the way, life happened. People told you to be realistic, to settle for less. They said your dreams were too big, too impractical. And slowly you started to believe them. You started to shrink your dreams to fit into the tiny box that society handed you. But let me tell you something: your dreams are not meant to fit into anyone else's box. They are meant to be pursued with every fiber of your being, no matter how impossible they may seem. Think about the great dreamers of our time. Martin Luther King, Jr., had a dream of racial equality in a time when segregation was the norm. Nelson Mandela had a dream of a free South Africa, even as he spent 27 years in prison. Steve Jobs had a dream of putting a computer in every home, back when computers were the size of a room. These people didn't let anyone tell them their dreams were too big. They pursued them relentlessly, and they changed the world in the process. And you have that same power within you. Your dreams matter, and they deserve to be pursued. But pursuing your dreams isn't easy. It requires sacrifice, hard work, and a willingness to face your fears. And that brings me to the second thing: you should never sacrifice your courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. It's the voice inside you that says, "I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway." When you live courageously, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You try new things, take risks, and push yourself beyond your comfort zone. You become the kind of person who makes things happen rather than waiting for things to happen to you. I think about a time when you were courageous. Maybe it was speaking up for someone who was being bullied, even though you were afraid of being targeted yourself. Maybe it was quitting a job you hated to pursue your passion, even though you had no safety net. Maybe it was asking someone out on a date, even though you were terrified of rejection. In those moments of courage, you grew. You became stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And you learned that you are capable of so much more than you ever imagined. But courage isn't just about taking big leaps. It's also about the small, daily choices we make. It's about choosing kindness over cruelty, even when it's hard. It's about standing up for what you believe in, even when it's unpopular. It's about being true to yourself, even when the world is telling you to be someone else. When you live with courage, you become a beacon of light in a world that can sometimes feel very dark. Which brings me to the third thing: you should never sacrifice your integrity. Integrity is about being honest, authentic, and true to your values, even when no one is watching. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. When you live with integrity, you build trust with others and with yourself. You become a person of your word, someone who can be counted on to do what you say you'll do. I think about a time when you were faced with a choice between doing what was easy and doing what was right. Maybe it was returning a lost wallet, even though you could have kept the money inside. Maybe it was admitting to a mistake at work, even though it could have cost you your job. Maybe it was telling the truth, even when a lie would have been more convenient. In those moments of integrity, you built character. You became someone who could look in the mirror and be proud of the person staring back at you. But integrity isn't just about the big choices. It's also about the small daily actions that define who we are. It's about being kind to the barista who messed up your coffee order, even though you're in a hurry. It's about giving your full attention to the person in front of you, even though your phone is buzzing with notifications. It's about doing your best work, even when no one is there to see it. When you live with integrity, you become a person of substance, someone who leaves the world a little better than you found it. And that brings me to the fourth and final thing: you should never sacrifice your relationships. Relationships are the very fabric of our lives. They are what give our lives meaning, purpose, and joy. When you prioritize your relationships, you create a life that is rich in love, connection, and belonging. You surround yourself with people who lift you up, support you, and believe in you. But building strong relationships isn't always easy. It requires vulnerability, communication, and a willingness to put others first. It means being there for your loved ones, even when it's inconvenient. It means listening with empathy and compassion, even when you disagree. It means apologizing when you've made a mistake and forgiving when others have hurt you. When you prioritize your relationships, you create a life that is filled with meaning and purpose. Think about the relationships that matter most to you. Maybe it's your spouse, who has been by your side through thick and thin. Maybe it's your children, who look up to you as their role model and hero. Maybe it's your friends, who know you better than anyone else and love you unconditionally. These relationships are the very foundation of your life. They are what will sustain you through the ups and downs, the triumphs and the challenges. But it's not just about the relationships you already have. It's also about the relationships you have yet to build. Every person you meet is an opportunity for connection, for growth, for learning. When you approach others with an open heart and a curious mind, you never know what kind of magic might happen. You might meet a mentor who changes the course of your career. You might make a new friend who becomes a lifelong confidant. You might even fall in love with someone who makes your heart skip a beat. So, my friend, never sacrifice your relationships for anything or anyone. Cherish the people in your life and make time for them every single day. Pick up the phone and call your mom just to say hi. Send a text to your best friend just to let them know you're thinking of them. Plan a date night with your partner just to reconnect and rekindle the spark. These small acts of love and connection are what make life worth living. As I look out at all of you today, I see a room full of people with incredible potential. You have dreams that are waiting to be pursued, courage that is waiting to be unleashed, integrity that is waiting to be lived, and relationships that are waiting to be cherished. But it's up to you to make the choice. Will you sacrifice these things for the sake of fitting in, playing it safe, or pleasing others? Or will you hold on to them with everything you've got, no matter what life throws your way? I've been where you are. I've faced my own moments of choice, my own fears and doubts and insecurities. But every time I've chosen to stay true to my dreams, my courage, my integrity, and my relationships, I've been rewarded with a life that is more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. And I want that same thing for you. So let me leave you with this final thought. Your life is a precious gift, one that is meant to be lived to the fullest. Don't waste it by sacrificing the things that matter most. Pursue your dreams with passion and determination. Live with courage even when it's scary. Act with integrity even when no one is watching. And cherish your relationships even when it's hard. If you do these things, I promise you that you will look back on your life with no regrets. You will know that you lived a life that was true to who you are, a life that made a difference in the world. And that, my friend, is the greatest legacy you can leave behind. Let me share with you a story from my own life that illustrates the power of never sacrificing your dreams. When I was a young man, I had a dream of becoming a teacher. I wanted to make a difference in the lives of students, to help them see their own potential and live up to it. But when I told my family and friends about my dream, they were skeptical. They said that teaching was a noble profession, but it wouldn't pay the bills. They encouraged me to pursue a more lucrative career, like law or medicine. For a while, I listened to them. I started down the path of becoming a lawyer, even though my heart wasn't in it. I studied hard, got good grades, and landed a job at a prestigious law firm. But every day I felt like I was dying a little inside. I was sacrificing my dream for the sake of practicality, and it was eating away at me. One day I hit a breaking point. I was sitting in my office staring at a stack of legal briefs, and I realized that I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't spend my life doing something that didn't light me up inside. So I quit my job, enrolled in a teaching program, and never looked back. Was it easy? No, I had to take a huge pay cut, live on a tight budget, and work long hours. But every day I woke up excited to go to work. I felt like I was making a real difference in the lives of my students. And as the years went by, I watched them grow and thrive and become incredible human beings. Some of them even came back to thank me years later for believing in them when no one else did. That experience taught me a powerful lesson. When you have a dream, you have to pursue it with everything you've got. You can't let anyone else tell you what you're capable of or what you should be doing with your life. You have to trust your own inner voice, your own sense of purpose and passion. And that brings me to another story, one that speaks to the power of courage. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer. It was a terrifying moment, one that shook me to my core. I was faced with a choice. I could let the fear consume me, or I could face it head on with courage and determination. I chose courage. I underwent round after round of chemotherapy, even when it left me weak and exhausted. I faced each day with a positive attitude, even when the pain was unbearable. And I leaned on the love and support of my family and friends, even when I felt like I had nothing left to give. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the most transformative. Through that experience, I learned that I was stronger than I ever knew. I learned that I could face my deepest fears and come out the other side. And I learned that when we have the courage to confront the challenges in our lives, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and growth. That's what I want for all of you. I want you to have the courage to face your fears, to take risks, to step outside your comfort zone. I want you to have the courage to be yourselves even when the world is telling you to be someone else. And I want you to have the courage to stand up for what you believe in, even when it's hard. Because when you live with courage, you become unstoppable. You become a force to be reckoned with, someone who can overcome any obstacle and achieve any goal. And that, my friends, is a life worth living. But courage alone isn't enough. You also need integrity, the third thing you should never sacrifice. Integrity is about being true to yourself and your values, even when it's difficult. It's about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. And it's about being honest, authentic, and transparent in all your dealings. I learned the importance of integrity the hard way. Early in my career, I was working for a company that was engaging in some unethical practices. They were cutting corners, lying to customers, and prioritizing profits over people. And for a while, I went along with it. I told myself that it wasn't my responsibility, that I was just following orders. But deep down, I knew it was wrong. I knew that I was compromising my integrity for the sake of a paycheck. And it was eating away at me, just like sacrificing my dream of teaching had eaten away at me years before. So once again, I made a choice. I quit my job, even though I didn't have another one lined up. I blew the whistle on the company's unethical practices, even though it meant burning bridges and making enemies. And I started over, this time with a commitment to always do the right thing, no matter what. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. By living with integrity, I was able to look myself in the mirror every day and feel proud of the person staring back at me. I was able to build trust with others because they knew that I would always be honest and truthful. And I was able to create a life that was aligned with my values and my sense of purpose. That's what I want for all of you. I want you to live with integrity, to be true to yourselves and your values. I want you to do the right thing, even when it's hard. And I want you to be honest, authentic, and transparent in all your dealings. Because when you live with integrity, you become a person of substance. You become someone who can be trusted, admired, and respected. And you become someone who leaves a positive legacy in the world. And that brings me to the final thing. You should never sacrifice your relationships. Relationships are the very heart of the human experience. They give our lives meaning, purpose, and joy. And they are what will sustain us through the ups and downs of life. I've been blessed with many incredible relationships in my life. My wife, my children, my friends, my colleagues, they have all played a vital role in shaping who I am today. They have supported me, challenged me, and loved me unconditionally. And they have taught me the true meaning of connection and belonging. But building strong relationships takes work. It requires time, effort, and a willingness to be vulnerable. It means being there for others, even when it's inconvenient. It means listening with empathy and compassion, even when we disagree. And it means apologizing when we've made mistakes and forgiving when others have hurt us. I know that it can be tempting to put relationships on the back burner, especially when we're busy chasing our dreams or building our careers. But let me tell you something, no amount of success or achievement can replace the love and connection we get from our relationships. At the end of the day, it's the people in our lives that matter most. So make time for your relationships. Prioritize them, cherish them, and invest in them. Pick up the phone and call your mom just to say hi. Send a text to your best friend just to let them know you're thinking of them. Plan a date night with your partner just to reconnect and rekindle the spark. These small acts of love and connection are what make life worth living. And don't be afraid to build new relationships too. Every person you meet is an opportunity for growth, learning, and connection. When you approach others with an open heart and a curious mind, you never know what kind of magic might happen. You might meet a mentor who changes the course of your career. You might make a new friend who becomes a lifelong confidant. You might even fall in love with someone who makes your heart skip a beat. Because here's the thing, we are all interconnected. We are all part of the same human family, the same web of life. And when we prioritize our relationships, we create a world that is more loving, more compassionate, and more connected. So, my friends, never sacrifice your relationships for anything or anyone. Hold on to them with everything you've got, no matter what life throws your way. Because at the end of the day, it's the people we love that make life worth living. As I look out at all of you today, I am filled with hope and inspiration. I see a room full of people with incredible gifts, talents, and potential. You have the power to create lives that are rich in meaning, purpose, and joy. You have the power to pursue your dreams, live with courage and integrity, and cherish your relationships. But it's up to you to make the choice. Will you sacrifice these things for the sake of fitting in, playing it safe, or pleasing others? Or will you hold on to them with everything you've got, no matter what? I know that it's not always easy. Life can be challenging, scary, and overwhelming at times. But I also know that when we stay true to ourselves and our values, when we surround ourselves with people who lift us up and believe in us, anything is possible. So let me leave you with this final thought. Your life is a precious gift, one that is meant to be lived to the fullest. Don't waste it by sacrificing the things that matter most. Pursue your dreams with passion and determination. Live with courage, even when it's scary. Act with integrity, even when no one is watching. And cherish your relationships, even when it's hard. If you do these things, I promise you that you will look back on your life with no regrets. You will know that you lived a life that was true to who you are, a life that made a difference in the world. And that, my friends, is the greatest legacy you can leave behind. So go out there and live your best life. Dream big, be brave, stay true, and love hard. The world is waiting for you to make your mark. And I can't wait to see all the incredible things you will achieve. Thank you.